Today, in this class, we will discuss about laws of chemical combinations. We have started this topic yesterday, but again, I am taking one topic again. Here, 5 laws of chemical combination are there. Law of conservation of mass. Second one is your law of definite or constant proportion. Third is your law of multiple proportion. Earlier there was law of reciprocal proportion also there, but now it is not in your syllabi. Fourth one is your Gay-Lussac law. And fifth is your Avogadro's hypothesis. These all three laws depends on mass, and rest these two laws depends on volume of gases. So first we will take law of conservation of mass. As the name suggests, conserve, which means the mass is conserved during the reaction. So first I will take law of conservation of mass. According to this law, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed during a chemical reaction, which means we cannot even create the mass or we cannot destroy the mass. Or another definition for this is the total mass change during a chemical reaction is constant. The total mass change during a chemical reaction is constant. Mass of reactant is always equal to the mass of product, even and after the reaction. This is your law of conservation of mass. Now take simple example. Always take very simple examples. This law was given by Lavoisier. Law of conservation of mass was given by Lavoisier in 1789. I'm taking very simple example. Carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide gas. Now, what is the atomic mass of carbon? It is 12 gram atomic mass. What is the molecular mass of oxygen? It is 16. There are 2 oxygen atoms, so it will be 32 grams. And their total will be 32 plus 12. It comes out to be 44 grams. And in case of product, it is carbon 12 plus 16 into 2. That also comes out to be 44 grams. So in this law, you see that mass of reactant comes equal to the mass of product. So it follows the law of conservation of mass. Fine? Here mass on both the sides are equal. If there is any doubt in this topic, then do message me. Or if it's clear, then give thumbs up. Do message me. Okay, fine. Bhavika, it's clear. Now, second we will take law of definite or constant proportion. Law of definite or constant proportion. This law was given by Proust in 1799. What this law states that definite means fixed. See what it states that in a pure compound. See, for this your compound should be pure. The same elements combines together in fixed ratio by mass. What does it mean? In a pure compound, if the compound is pure, the same element, the element present in any compound, but that should be pure, their masses ratio should be fixed. See, I am giving you one example so that it will be clear to you. What law of definite or constant proportion states that in a pure compound, suppose I am taking water and sources are, suppose it is pure water, it is RO water, your purifier, any purifier, your rainwater, or suppose I am taking this water from Russia, America, and of course India. I am taking water from different sources and from different countries, from Russia, America, and India. In this, if I will take the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen in this pure compound, in this hydrogen is having, you know, the gram atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 gram, but 2 atoms are present, so it will be 2. And for oxygen, it is 16. So their ratio comes out to be 1:8, which will be fixed for every water, whether you are taking from any country. If it is pure water, then the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen in pure water sample is 1:8 always. Or take another example. I am taking carbon dioxide. If I am taking their ratio, it always comes out to be 3:8 if it is pure carbon dioxide. Then this ratio is always fixed for a particular compound. So this law states that a chemical compound, if it is made up of same elements, they always combine together in fixed ratio by mass. But there is little bit limitation for this law. What this states that, suppose if any element is consist of isotopes. What are isotopes? Isotopes are the atoms of same element having same atomic number but different mass number. You have read this topic in class 9th also. It is not applicable to those compounds which is having their isotopes. Second, it is not applicable to those compounds in which sometimes the elements may combine in same ratio, but the compound form may be different. For example, I am taking ethanol, C2H5OH, and propanone, CH3OCH3, ether. If you count number of hydrogen here, 6. It is also here, 6. Number of oxygen is 1 here, 1 here. Number of carbon is, both the cases is 2. But their molecular formula is same. The ratio of elements is same, but the compound is different. It is alcohol and it is ether, ROR. These two are organic compound. These are different compound, but the ratio in these compound is of all the atom is same in both the compound. If there is any doubt, then please message me. Any doubt? Any doubt to anyone? Or is it clear to you all? Any doubt? Okay, fine. Second law. What happened? Just a minute. Explanation. Explain this last example. Okay, fine. See, my dear student, it is ethanol. C2H5OH. It is ether. CH3O CH3. If you see here the ratio, 2 carbon, it will be 24:6:16. If you find the ratio in these two compounds, it is same for both the compounds, but it is not same compound. So this law is violated here because this law states that in the same compound, that should be pure, the same elements combines together in the fixed ratio by mass. If I will see this compound, here the ratios are here the ratio is same, but compound is different. So this is the limitation of this law. Now see one question of this law. We will solve one question based on this. My dear students, take out your notebooks with you and solve with me. Everyone should actively participate during the class. Actively. You are youngsters, you should be actively participate in the class. Now, this is the question. In experiment number 1, 0.243 gram of magnesium combines with oxygen to form, question is 0.243 gram of oxygen, magnesium combines with oxygen gives 0.403 gram of magnesium oxide. In experiment number 2, it is 0.182 gram of magnesium again combines with oxygen to form 0.302 gram of magnesium oxide. Fine. This is the data given to us. Now you have to prove whether this statement follows the law of definite or constant proportion. First statement is clear, or I am repeating again. In experiment number 1, 0.243 gram of magnesium combines with oxygen to form 0.403 gram of magnesium oxide. Simple reaction. In experiment 2, 0.182 gram of magnesium combines with oxygen to form 0.302 gram of your magnesium oxide. Show that these two experiments follow the law of conservation of mass. How we will do? See, solution. Better solve with me. Take out your notebooks. Magnesium. Experiment 1. Magnesium, oxygen, magnesium oxide. C. In experiment 2. First write what is given to us. In experiment number 1, it is 0.243 gram of magnesium. I don't know how much amount of oxygen is there. It combines with oxygen to form 0.403. See, my dear students, it combines with this to form this. So if I need its mass, I can minus this from this. I can minus this from this. So minus 0.403 minus 0.243. That comes out to be around 0.160. Fine. In the second experiment, what is given to us? 0.182. It forms 0.302. Minus. Now again minus this from this. It comes out to be nearly 0.223. to 0, 10 to, and it will be 0.120. Simple. Minus this from this. Now, what law of definite proportion states that? It states that in a pure compound, the same elements combines together in fixed ratio by mass. So, I will take ratio in both the experiments. In first case, ratio of this to this. Magnesium is to oxygen ratio 0.243. It should be divided by 0.160. Calculate in experiment number 1. In also calculate the ratio of magnesium to oxygen in experiment number 2. It will be 0.182 over 0.120. It nearly comes out to be 3/2 or 1.5. Similarly, it also comes out to be nearly 3/2 or 1.5. So, in this, it almost equals to 1.5. In both the experiments, if the ratio comes out to be same, it means they follows the law of definite proportion. What I did, I take their composition, their mass in grams, and take their ratio. If this ratio comes out to be same, it means it follows the law of definite proportion. My dear student, if you are facing any doubt, then please message me. Okay, fine. Very good, Lakshay. Lakshay's speed of solving the question is very good. Good going, my dear student. Everybody actively participate in the class, dear students. And please switch on your cameras, switch on your videos. Please, during the whole lecture, your videos should be on. Now, 2 laws are clear. Now comes to third law. It is law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion. This law was given by John Dalton. Okay, first law was given by Lavoisier. Second law was given by, a law of definite proportion was given by whom? It was given by law. Okay, we are taking law of, which law we are taking? We are taking law of conservation. Sorry, it is your law of constant proportion. It was given by Proust, and law of multiple proportion was given by John Dalton. So what this law states that? This law states that, see, when two elements, better learn their definition. Sometimes examiner may ask a simple definition for this. When two elements combines to form, when two elements combines to form two or more compounds. When two elements combines to form two or more compounds, then the different masses of one element which combines with fixed mass of other element bears a simple small whole number ratio. A little bit difficult, but after when I explain this now, you will find it very easy. What this law states that, this law was given by Dalton, John Dalton. When two elements, okay, I'm taking one example. I am taking the example of carbon combines with oxygen. When two elements, carbon and oxygen, again I am taking carbon and oxygen. When two elements combines, they combine to form two or more products. First it will form carbon dioxide, and also carbon combines with oxygen to form carbon monoxide. So when two elements, these two elements combines to form two or more products, one is carbon dioxide and another one is carbon monoxide. Then the different masses of one element. See, here the mass of carbon is 12 and also in this case 12. But in this case, the mass of oxygen is 32 and for this is 16. See, 12, it means mass of this element is fixed, but it is different. So, then the different masses of one element, which is oxygen here in this case, which combines with the same element of another element bears a simple whole number ratio. If I will take the ratio of these two compounds, which is different in this case, it will be 16:32 or 1:2. So it is your simple whole number ratio. This is your law of multiple proportion. See, I am again repeating by taking another example. Suppose I am taking hydrogen with oxygen. Dear students, if you keep these two simple examples in mind, then you will never ever forget these. See, hydrogen combines with oxygen to form H2O. And hydrogen also combines with oxygen to form hydrogen peroxide. The formula for this is H2O2. Clear? Now, hydrogen here, the ratio of hydrogen is 2:16 and in this also 2:32. So fixed mass is for hydrogen. Oxygen combines in different ratio. So their ratio should be, their ratio is simple ratio. How? Because in one oxygen it is 16 and in another oxygen it is 32. So that comes out to be simple whole ratio. So this follows the law of multiple proportion. See this one example. This question asked in JEE exam. See this question. The question is, I am taking different elements of nitrogen. They combine to form so many products. Nitrogen can combine with oxygen to form different compounds. See, nitrogen can combine with oxygen to form N2O, can combine to form NO, can also combine to form N2O3, NO2, N2O5. Fine. And question is, show that the given table follows the law of law of multiple proportion. Question is clear. We have given number of elements, nitrogen and oxygen, and it will form different compounds. Question is, show that the given data follows the law of multiple proportion. How we can prove that? See their masses. In this particular formula, the mass of nitrogen is 40, but 2 are present, so it will be 28:16. Fine. In this case, it will be 14:16. In this case, it will be 28:16, 3 the 48. In this nitrogen, 14:32. Here, 28:16, 5, 80. Now here, Here the case is quite different. No element is having fixed mass. Now what to do? What we can do? Here the mass of nitrogen is also changing. Here the mass of oxygen is also changing. Now what to do? What we can do? See, if I will make it 28. See, their ratio is fixed. If I am taking 2 molecules of nitrogen, suppose I am multiplying it by 2, then it also will become double. It is 32. In also this case, I have to multiply it by what? 2. It comes out to be 28. Now see, now in every compound, because in this compound I have to make there 2 moles and then also 2. Simply because I want nitrogen should be diatomic. The 2 molecules I require. So now you see, in this case, the mass of nitrogen is fixed. If you see the ratio of this, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this follows the law of multiple proportion. Fine? Fine, is it? It follows the law of multiple proportion. Is there any doubt? Or if it is clear, then gives me thumbs up fast. Fast. Okay, very good. Understood. Now, fourth law is your Gay-Lussac law. Gay-Lussac's law. What this law states that, when gaseous reacts, when gaseous reacts they do so in volume. When gaseous reacts, they do so in volume. Which bears a simple whole number ratio, which bears a simple whole number ratio to one another and to the volume of product formed forms if gaseous. See, by taking simple example, if I am taking hydrogen, it combines with chlorine. Hydrogen combines with oxygen to chlorine to form HCl. What it states that, see, first in this case, your equation should be balanced. If you see what this law states that when gaseous molecules react, if they are in gaseous state, then their volume are in simple whole number ratio. See, here 1 volume of hydrogen combines with 1 volume of chlorine to form 2 volume of HCl. Simple, the ratio is 1:1:2. Simple, if this product is also gaseous, then the ratio of volume is fixed. But remember, this law is applicable only when gaseous and reactants are in gaseous phase. They should be present in gas phase. Something is present in liquid phase, it is not applicable. Take one example, one question. When 100 ml of methane burns in oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. Calculate oxygen required and CO2 produced. See the question: when 100 ml of methane burns in, it produces CO2 and water. Find volume of oxygen required and CO2 produced. First, your aim should be right balanced chemical equation. Methane burns in oxygen to produce carbon dioxide plus water plus a huge amount of energy will release. See, these all are in gaseous state. With this question, you can calculate the amount of methane, you can calculate the amount of oxygen, you can calculate the amount of carbon dioxide. But with this, if I will ask how much amount of water will form, you cannot calculate. Because Gay-Lussac law is applicable to gaseous reactant or product. See, write the balanced equation. Here, 4 oxygen, and it will be 2. Now it is balanced. If I will see 1 volume of methane combines with 2 volume of oxygen to produce 1 volume of carbon dioxide. In question, 100 ml of methane is there. So with this, I require double, because you see this balanced equation, it requires double the volume of methane. So it requires 200 ml of oxygen, and how much will produce? 100 ml of your carbon dioxide will produce. This is your Gay-Lussac law. This law is not applicable for finding the amount of water here. I hope, is it clear to you? Simple law. Sanya, which law you want to tell again? Which law you want to know? Just message me, Sanya. Gay-Lussac law. What does this law states? That if this is. Now, what does this Avogadro's hypothesis states? That equal volume of all the gases, equal volume of all the gases at same temperature and pressure, equal volume of all the gases at same temperature and pressure contains equal number of molecules. Which means if I am taking equal volume of all the gases I am taking equal volume, it contains equal number of molecules provided the temperature and pressure should be same. Or other physical conditions should be same. Or under similar condition of temperature and pressure, equal volume of all the gases contains equal number of molecules, provided every physical condition should be same. What does it mean? It states that volume of all the gases contains equal number of molecules. Suppose I am taking one cylinder and in this 100 ml of H2 gas is present and temperature and pressure is so and so, but it is same for all the gases. It contains X molecules of H2 gas. Suppose I am taking 100 ml of H2 gas in this cylinder and it is having X molecules, and I will ask, what is the number of molecules of 100 ml of O2 gas here, provided the temperature and pressure is same? Your answer will be same, X molecules. But for this law, remember, temperature and pressure should be same. If I will ask 50 ml of NH3 gas at same temperature and pressure, you will say volume is half, so number of molecules will also be half. Or if I will ask 200 ml of chlorine gas, volume is double at same temperature and pressure or other physical conditions, then it will be 2x. I hope, is it clear to you all? Fine. This is all about your gas.